Grand, sure. How are you, Mr. Oscar Steyn?
No, Spare, I'm very well, my brother. And thanks for having me here today, man.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, how long have you lived actually in Salvokop?
Spare, I arrived here in Salvokop back in December 2005. So December this year, I'll be living in Salvokop for 16 years. 16 years.
Just, that's long.
Yes, it's quite a long time.
Long. I think it's safe to say that you can call this your home also, in a way.
Yes.
Even though it didn't raise you all the way because you already came kind of as a young adult. But then,
yes,
16 years, just...
Yeah, 16 years it's a long time. I mean, I came here just after I finished writing my final matric exam. I think it was three days or a few days after I finished my writing my final exam. Jump onto the bus and I came to Pretoria, and I've been here ever since then. So Pretoria is home.
Pretoria is home. Pretoria is home. Do you miss home though sometimes?
Not really. I mean, I've been away from Kimberley for so long. I don't miss Kimberley because I was born in Pretoria.
Okay.
I just grew up in Kimberley, and then after matric I came back to Pretoria. So Pretoria I'm back home.
You're back home.
I'm back home. I've got my extended family, my brother family back home, aunts, uncles, and cousins from both sides of the family line. But yeah, Pretoria is home for me.
Pretoria is home. It's home for me too, actually.
Yes,
yeah, it's actually home for me because I didn't stay that long. I never stayed that long at home. I just there for a while, and then I came here, and I came very young. I didn't have to finish writing my last paper.
Yes.
My last matric paper. I was here like from grade 1 upwards since. So yeah.
But you know what they do say? They say home is where the heart is.
Where the heart is.
The heart is here in Pretoria, so this is where home is.
This is where home is.
And Salvokop is one of the places I call home. I mean, I've been living I don't believe I've lived anywhere longer than in Salvokop. Salvokop has been my home for the last 16 years.
That's a long time. And so during that time, concerning changes, like, let's start with the positive change that, okay, since you came here, is there any positive change that you've seen so far? I mean, judging from the 16 years that you've been here, it can be a random thing, nothing in particular.
I think the biggest change that Salvokop has seen over the last 16 years that I've been here is this building standing right there, Stats SA.
Stats SA.
That's the biggest change that Salvokop has seen in the last 16 years that I've been in Salvokop. They also got a block of flats, a block of flats, and Freedom Park has been here for many years, but even before I got to Freedom Park. I think when I got it, they were still busy building.
The thing is, I'm not really correct as to when.
I think they were still busy building Freedom Park when I got there. Yes, but that's one of the positive changes in terms of the community. I can't really say I've seen any positive changes.
Okay.
Because it just looks that we've become more overcrowded, and then things just deteriorated more in Salvokop, in terms of infrastructure in our streets and stuff like that. When I look at the youth, they formed so many over the years. So many youth structures were formed, but all of them failed. All of them failed, and then the recent one that was formed, I think our producer is a founding member of that structure.
Okay.
Because it's something that he discussed with me before it was actually formed, and that's one of the positive things. If you look from now recently,
yeah,
it's one of the positive things that actually standing out in this community. That the things they've done, the positive things they've done. We know what structures like that. There's always the negative, but for me, I want to focus on the positive. Those are the positive things they have done especially if you look at the last year during this COVID period.
Yeah. And then judging from your experience, looking at it, what went wrong? And before you answer that, were you ever part of these structures?
I remember when they formed the Salvokop Youth Development Forum.
Mm-hmm. And what year was that?
what year was that? I think that was 2016, 2014, somewhere around there. I just can't recall the exact year it was. You know, Salva Cop Youth Development Forum had these issues from the get-go. You know, as much as we preach it, we don't want political influence in our structures. But if you have so many young people who are from a political background or who belong to a certain political party, especially if they are the majority, they always bring that ideology to a structure, and that was the collapse of the structure. It still exists, but it exists in name only. You know, it exists in name only, and that's where things they just go haywire, because you know you bring an ideology to a youth structure that's supposed to be for the youth, but then and that causes the young people to say, you know what, I don't want to be here, and that's what we've seen. I'm just hoping and praying that the current one that's doing positive things in this community, it's gonna stick around for a very long time and actually changes young people's lives in this community, bring positive change.
And do you think it's now at the right direction? Or if there was any advice you could give, maybe one or two, but not more than two, what would it be concerning the youth? The recent one, not the...
You know what? I would tell them to focus more on the issues of the youth, instead of just wanting to have entertainment for children and stuff like that. Okay. Because a youth structure focuses on uplifting the young people, you know. So I would really tell them, just focus on the issues in this community that the youth is facing, and then you can tackle them from there. If you know what are the issues, like employment, development, skills development, stuff like that, try implementing those things instead of just focusing on we want to have programs.
Yeah, because for me, when it comes to the recent one, I can see its flaws at some point. Yeah, it's in a way it's turned into a social club, because it's like, okay, guys, let's gather and then let's have fun, right? How much money do you have? Let's cough up, we'll eat. But then let's have fun. I don't think they're really diving into the seriousness, you know, of our condition. Yes. Right. Which is mostly unemployment. I mean, we cannot keep ignoring unemployment as though, especially if you know people are unemployed, and then at the same time, they have to always, in these events, they have to cough up this money that you don't even sit down and ask yourself, where will they get this money? It doesn't matter if it's 5 rand, but where will they get the money? You know, if you are working, it's easy to say, I have it, right? It's easier. Yes. No matter if there's a slight change, like an example, even if I made 100 rand every week and you didn't make 100 rand every week, 100 rand is an amount for me. Suddenly 5 rand, I can do 5 rand because I make 100 rand every week. But for you, you don't even know where to start. Where will I get that kind of money? So I'm kind of detached from that. So I think when it comes to it, I'm talking to not necessarily the correct person. That's why I need one of them. I want to interview them, right? Is that you don't need to be detached from these people. I feel like they are at some point, right? I do feel like they are at some point. Yeah.
You know what's fair? The youth in Salva Cop, they're at an advantage. That are being recognized at the moment. And you're quite right when you say, whenever they have these events, there's always money involved, and there are other young people who don't have the funds. You know, going to your parents and ask for 200 rand, it's a lot. Coming back to what I said before this, they are at an advantage because the youth is recognized by Tshwane municipality. You know, and if they can put in more of effort in creating opportunities for young people, employment opportunities, start building relationships with our stakeholders around us, building relationships with those people, I believe they can make the necessary difference that they want to make. You know, because I don't think we're the only one who just sees the youth as a social club. No, others who are looking for outside, they're like, okay, they're doing this and doing this, but whenever they come together, they pop out money and, you know, this and that. So they really need to tap into you know what, we're at an advantage. Why don't we use our advantage to make a real difference? Because at the end of the day, they will phase out. A lot of us will phase out in the youth. I'm the oldest member in the youth. active member, oldest active member. I'm phasing out. In 5 years, in 5 years, 4 years time, I'll be 40 years old. I'm too old for the youth already. But I'm there because, you know what? I want to be there. I'm not necessarily on the leadership, but what I'm doing, being active in the youth, should show to somebody, but you know what? Oscar is one of the oldest members on the youth, but it's always with us. Yeah. I'm teaching somebody something indirectly, not necessarily being in a leadership position, you know. So what they're having, they really need to use that to their advantage, because they can go far. They can go far. I mean, being recognized by Statistics XA, being recognized by what you call it, Freedom Park, City of Tshwane.
It's already a good start.
It's a good start, you know. So they already have the stepping stones. They just need to now go higher and higher, and you know, make this thing work. I would personally love to see the youth achieve greater things. Yeah. Go to higher heights. I would personally love to. I would even, if I was in my power, I would invest in the youth, because I'd want them to say, you know what, I'd want to see them go there. If they need something, I would say no. We need 1, 2, 3. If I was in that position, I would invest in the youth. You know what, you need computers, let's provide you computers. You need an office, let's get your container and get you an office. Things like that.
Speaking of that, of power, you are, if I am correct, you'll correct me, right? You are the councillor candidate, right?
Yes, I am the councillor candidate for the Patriotic Alliance for Ward 80.
Ward 80.
Yes. And let me just say this, Pay. When I decided to put up my hand for this position, I didn't just think of my future and my children's future.
Yeah.
I thought about the community. Because at this point in time, the community needs somebody who will look after the needs of the community. The community needs somebody who will stand for the community, and not just for him and his family. You know, the community needs somebody who will go that extra mile for the community. And when I talk about the community, I'm talking about everyone, including the youth, old people, our children, the youth, everybody. They need somebody who will really serve. Let me just bring this word in, to serve. When you're a councillor, you are a servant to the people, and I'm here to serve.
And so you said that the PA, right?
Yes, the PA.
Why the PA? I mean, there is ANC, there is EFF, there's DA, to mention a few, but those are the big ones. Why the PA?
I've never belonged. I've never had a, what you call it, a membership with the PA. I was at one stage of my life, I was a member of the DA.
Yeah.
And then I remember I signed up on Facebook. I signed up for the online application. I signed up for Action SA. And then I think shortly after that, I came across this post. I think it's from our president, Gayton McKenzie, on Facebook. And I read through it. And that captured me. Because what he mentioned, because I'm the kind of person that I don't follow a person, I follow a vision. Okay. So if the vision it stands out for me and I can relate to the vision, that's how I follow. And there's just quite a few things that President Gayton McKenzie mentioned in that post on Facebook. And the one thing that he mentioned was that God is going back into our schools. Yeah. And that's the one thing that stood out for me.
That does, you know what?
God is going back to our schools.
Let me pay attention. Let me pay attention. What else does this man, or ideas, what other ideas does he have? So that's the one that caught you.
Yes.
Caught your attention.
Yes.
So then you're like, you know what? Okay, the PA.
Patriotic Alliance.
But then since South Africa is a diverse country, how will that work?
You know, a lot of people think because PA is led by a colored, it's a colored party.
Yeah.
Patriotic Alliance is not a colored party. Our deputy president is Kenny Kunene. So our party is a very colorful party.
It is. When we speak about the majority, you can actually agree that the majority are colored.
I would agree and disagree with you because, you know, maybe when it started out, maybe when it started out back in 2013, the majority it's black. You know, we do have that colored base, Because if you can listen to what our President Gayton McKenzie and Deputy President Kenneth Kunene are saying, they are saying that, you know what, we are not a colorful party. We are not a colored party, we are a colorful party. You know, as much as we're going to look at everyone's interest, it's about time that the colored people also get their seat around the table. So we will cater for everyone. But we want to bring the colored people also to the table, because around the table we have the blacks. Around the table we have the whites. Around the table we have the Indians. But you will not find the colored around the table.
They're not there at all.
You tell me.
Let's start at Salvokop. Let's start at Salvokop. With the current leadership, is there any colors there?
Are you talking about my
not alliance? Not you. We're talking about the current councillor.
The current councillor.
Councillor, and obviously his team, the people that he works with. Does he work? No, there's colors most there.
Yes, there are colors, but now I'm referring to the bigger table. I'm referring to the table on a national level. You know, in this country, we know that, you know, the colors, they've always been at the back. You know, even when it was under the previous regime, we were always pushed to the back. You know, ANC took over, and then we were pushed to the back again. So what our president is saying and our DP is saying, we don't want the colors at the back anymore. We are bringing the colors to the fore, to sit around the table, where things that matters are discussed. We don't just want to hear things. We want to be on the table, around the table, where decisions are being made. You know, we've had colors in government. Your Trevor Manuels, but that's like a drop in the ocean. We want to be part of the decision making, not just receiving the orders, but we also want to be there, around the table.
I think I get what you're saying. If I'm hearing you correctly, I think I get what you're saying. So now going back on a much smaller scale, such as Ward 80, right?
Yes.
Your plan, and at this point, the youth. What's your plan? You become the councillor. What's your plan? What's the first thing you're gonna do for the youth? Your plans for the youth, not just the community, but specifically for the youth. Yeah. What is your plan?
You know what's fair? I'm the kind of person who listens to what people are saying. You know, and someone said, you know what, Oscar, we understand there are service delivery issues, but our biggest issue is unemployment.
Yeah.
If you can look around us, Ward 80 is not just Salvokop.
Yeah. How far does it stretch?
Ward 80, Skanskop. The demarcation goes from Skanskop, so it's Skanskop, the prison, the Aquarium Artillery Road, all the way down with Jacob Marais. Is it now Jeff Masimula? All the way down with Jacob Marais, and then it covers, because it goes in and then it comes back again. So within our ward, we've got Freedom Park, we've got City to City Bus Depot, we've got Statistics SA, we've got land reform, we've got home affairs. So there are quite a lot of stakeholders around us, and we've got a mall. So we've got like other restaurants and garages within our ward. So it'll be very important to build relationships with all these things, with all these stakeholders. Because without building a relationship with those people, you will not be able to get employment for the young people within your ward or your constituency. So it'll be very important for me to build relationships, because I can't just come out and promise you jobs.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I'm gonna get the jobs from.
So what you are saying now at this point is, you are not promising any jobs.
I'm not promising jobs to anyone. What I'm saying is, give me a chance to get into office, and then we'll take it from there. Because I cannot build a relationship from outside. If I'm inside, I can build a relationship. I can go to our stakeholders, discuss with them, have a meeting with them, and work on a plan as to how are we going to employ the young people within the ward, because we have to look outside of Salvokop as well. Because if I'm just going to focus on this, like, but you're at a ward council just for Salvokop, and your ward is bigger than Salvokop.
I see exactly what you're saying. Is that Because usually, I'm not sure, but in the past years, it would look as though it's just Salvocop, right?
Yes.
It would look as though that's... So what you're saying is, no, you're just going to involve anyone that lives, right? In what 80, whoever it may be, you're planning. If they need employment, and then there is the employment available.
Especially if it's South African young people.
Especially South...
Because one thing for sure, what the PA also says is that only foreigners, legal foreigners in this country with a scarce skill will get employment in this country. We cannot have young people. You are computer literate. I'm computer literate. I'm an immigrant. You are South African, but I get the job. Our youth unemployment rate is so high, but still we employ people from other countries who can do the job that our young people in this country can do. It doesn't make sense. We are both cashiers, but they employ the other because the other one is cheaper. The other one charges a cheaper rate than what you are charging. So those are also the things we're also going to look at as a party. Because it cannot be that we have so many skilled young people, but then they don't have jobs.
So starting from you, you're saying that now, concerning Ward 80, you will make sure that South Africans are employed. That's what you're saying.
That's what I'll be fighting for.
But especially if we were sitting here and you look around, I mean, especially in Salvocop, there's a lot of foreigners, Zimbabweans to be
precise.
To be precise.
Yeah.
What's your plan for them?
You know what? We are very unapologetic when it comes to, especially if they're here illegally.
Okay.
We are very unapologetic about it. When we take government at 12 o'clock, as our president said, 3 o'clock, we start deporting. All illegal foreigners, whether you are Zimbabwean, whether you are Chinese, whether you are Malawian, whether you are from Tanzania, it doesn't matter. If you are here illegally in this country, you will be deported. Because we've been living in Salvocop for so long. But if we can start counting the Zimbabweans in Salvocop, they outnumber us. They outnumber us. So somewhere, we need to sit down. The council needs to sit down with both Tshwane and Public Works to discuss how are we going to deal with this thing.
Particularly
particularly what 80, or let's say especially Salvocop, because we are overcrowded. Our infrastructure cannot hold up because we are overcrowded. The electricity grid, in our drainage system, the pressure is too much on it. Because we've got so many people, our backyards, you'll find one yard has about 20 shacks in there. And we understand, poverty in most cases. It's poverty. People, what, I'm not working, I've got a house. I'm taking people who rent in my yard. They pay a certain amount of money, and I'm able to pay the rent of the house. I'm able to feed my children, send my children to school. And there's a situation that was created by our current government. The people now have to put so many foreigners in their yards just so they can have an income and to buy the grocery, food, put the children to school and stuff like that.
But concerning, especially with the shacks, I mean, a lot of people that they do work though. I mean, people that actually have that allow these shacks actually are employed. They work.
Yes, you are quite right.
So at that point, I wouldn't defend them that much. I mean, they had a choice; they didn't have to do what they were doing.
No, you're actually quite right. The statement I just made earlier is like I'm thinking it's like a handful of people, but majority of the people in Salvocop, they are working. They are working. Those were.
In fact, you know that they are working because some don't even stay here.
Yes, I mean there are some people. I've never seen homeowners of most of these houses here. And when you get to the house, you'll find even there are some houses there that foreigners live in those houses. Yeah.
So that's why your plan. And I'm not sure how far when it comes to the councillor, like what kind of powers or authority or ability to actually exercise your power. Like how far does it stretch? I don't know. So that if I'm asking a question, I don't want to ask a question and then it suddenly becomes what is this? A universal kind of answer. Yes. I need a specific. I need a specific.
You know what? At the moment, I cannot say much on that because you know what? I've not the thought did cross my mind, but the thought did cross my mind. As you say, you are not sure as to what powers the councillor has. That's why I said earlier on, it will be important for me to sit down with both Tshwane, with both Tshwane and Public Works.
Yeah.
But the main one would be Public Works, because remember they are the owners of this land that we are living on.
Yeah.
Or living in this area we're living in. So it'll be important. It'll be important to go back to the Public Works and discuss this thing with them. Because as a councillor, I mean, I think when it comes to your powers are quite limited. Remember, this is not really a municipal area. Okay. It belongs to Public Works. So that will mean that I have to go to Public Works and we discuss the situation here in as to how are we going to deal with this thing. Are we going to bring in Home Affairs as well to see how many undocumented people we have in Salvacop? You know, are we going to do like a short census to count just the foreigners in Salvacop, so that we can have an estimation as to how many people are in Salvacop, how many foreigners are in Salvacop. So that's why I said I can't really just say much and say no. Wow, I'm gonna chase them away. You know, whenever South Africans do something to other people, they say no, we don't want you here. So even when we do it in a nice way, they say we are xenophobic. So yeah, so I'll have to if when I'm elected a councillor,
yeah,
I'll have to go to Public Works and discuss this thing with them. So how are we going to? Because people are complaining. People are complaining.
Yeah, because I can understand why. I mean, as you said, it's overcrowded, right? I mean, once upon a time, if I was sitting at home, I could like literally see through. I could see literally through first. What is this? Third Avenue. Since this is Fourth Avenue, I could see Third Avenue, Second Avenue. I mean, it was that open.
Yes.
I can't see now because there's just shacks everywhere, right? There's just shacks everywhere, and on top of that, now there's Baghdad. I mean, it's Salvacop is. It's funny that it's expanding, but it's expanding, you know, in a wrongful way.
Yes.
Right? It really is expanding. Baghdad wasn't here. Again, you go that side, they call it Harare. You see, it's expanding, but in the wrong way.
No, the issues of Salvacop, they've been let go to happen for far too long. You know, so the incoming councillor will have a tough job to deal with those issues, because if we talk about Baghdad, they will tell you about human right issues.
Yeah.
You know, it's the human right. You know, but people they are not talking about the things that are happening in Baghdad. As we said now, they've connected electricity illegally.
Okay.
As we said here right now, they've connected electricity illegally, and we must just accept it. When the power trips in Fifth Avenue, a group of men will go there, take off those wires. After a few hours, so they just put them back up again. You know.
So it's that bad.
It's that bad. You know, and we literally don't ever. When you say something or when you speak about these things, you know, you are seen as somebody who's un-African.
Yeah.
You know, because those are Africans staying in Baghdad. You know, and it's their right to have electricity. It's the right to have a nice life.
Yeah.
You know, I once said it on the group, but they are staying in the bush. You can't expect to stay in the bush and have electricity. It just doesn't make sense. You know, and what is happening? They are causing an inconvenience to other people.
Okay.
Because the electricity trips, your fridge, especially the fridge. The fridge doesn't want to go on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off.
Fridge, yeah. You don't do that to the fridge.
So yeah, it's a very difficult situation, or can I say complex situation to deal with.
Complex would be the word.
Complex situation to deal with. Yeah. But as I said earlier on, we'll have to bring in the big guns, Public Works. They need to help us to deal with the situation.
So, even touching on smaller businesses, such as, you know, there are young kids, young men, young ladies that are into business. How will you assist them? Like, is there a plan? Like, I need like something maybe. That's what I'm saying. I'm not looking for something universal. Like, yes, I'm just gonna help them. Like, isn't there any specifics to someone? I mean, you don't need to give out every detail, but something. an idea to say, okay, I see what your plan is?
Spare, I believe you and I, even in Skeza, we've always had our discussions here in Salvacop, you know, about the rural youth and all of those things.
Yeah.
My especially in the parking area where the church is now.
Yeah.
Because I've seen, I've identified a lot of different young people who are into business, and you are one of them. You've got a podcast. You will need a place where you can operate your business from. So I'm looking at that space, and I'm seeing, you know what? Let's just have a business hub for our young people here. One is having a restaurant, it's fine. Barbershop, hair salon, internet cafe, your podcast. So let's build that for our youth in Salvacop. But not just that, we need to fund young people. Young people needs to be funded, and even when they get funding, they need to know how to utilize that money. And we have someone in our party who's giving business coaching, because giving somebody money is just not enough. You know, you need to coach that person as going, this is how you're going to operate your business. This is how you're going to use this money. This money is not for you. It's for the business. Yes. It's not about, okay, I've got 100K now. I will spend 70K and then I will keep the 30K to myself. So we have those people within the party who will come in and say, okay, these are the 10 people, you know, whom we have funded. Now we are going to train you. Now we're going to train you in business skills. So that's how you're going to about your business, financial statements and stuff like that.
You know, I've seen actually when they try and assist young people, right? There's funding is something, I don't know. I think it's as though you're swearing at them. Yeah, it's not something that people like to do. And particularly even these organizations, they don't like to fund. Yes, they can come, we'll teach you, but then after that, you're on your own. I've been even a victim of that.
You know what?
I went there, yes, I have the training, I have everything, but they told us, okay, motivate us as to why you need this kind of money.
They want a motivation.
Right, they want a motivation. Fine, I write it. And then it was ignored. And then I followed it because I didn't like it. I was ignored, right? When you're being ignored, and then people, and obviously some people that get funding brag about it. Oh, listen, I got this and that, and I got this and that and this. And then, you get that frustration, and you're like, okay, I want to find out why. What's wrong with my proposal, right? Because there was no limit, right? There was no budget such as a cut, because I asked, okay, guys, give me an idea of a budget that I can work with. At least I can, right?
Yes.
And the people that they assisted obviously had to connect, with what they do. And that was the problem, I don't see it as helping if you always have to benefit, particularly if you are a huge organization.
Yes.
You don't need to say, okay, listen, we'll make you trade with us, right? For me, that's not, you haven't really assisted, right? Because you're still benefiting yourself, right? So those are the kind of things that need to be discussed, such as, listen, if you want to help someone, it's good that you can help someone with a business, but if your business needs money to function, I'm pretty sure you are well aware that as small as that business is, it also needs that to function. You understand? It's not a foreign kind of a language.
Yes.
It's universal. You know that small businesses need this kind of money. But on top of that, I do agree with you. They need that education. They need that, financial, what is that word? Financial, since it's not coming, I'll just say
knowledge.
Financial knowledge, No,
you know what?
Need it.
You know what's fair? I think funders need to look now. They just need to look now past funding in monetary terms. Let's say for what we are doing right now here, you need a laptop.
Yeah.
Funding can be something like that as well. You need a mic. You need like a small setup for your podcast. You know? Funding can be in terms of that as well. So I want to say to funders out there, you know what? Just look past the monetary, like giving cash.
Money, yeah.
I'm depositing money. Rather ask, what do you need?
Or such as, you know what, I need this kind of room. Can you rent it for me for the whole year?
Yes. That can
The
also
cover, you can cover that. Yeah, that's a good head start,
yes.
right?
I need this for the whole year. So they really need to look at it in that way. Say, you know what? I just need equipment. I don't need money. I've done my research. The equipment costs about 20,000 rand. Then they can go out and buy that. So you know what? We've sponsored Spare with this, or we sponsored Sipo with studio equipment for his studio. You see, so they really need to look at funding just past the monetary, the money, and just look at what do you need. Sometimes they just need to ask, what do you need? And in South Africa, there's so much, people always encourage young people to start businesses, but there's a lot of red tape to get funding. There's too much red tape to get funding.
I know that. That's why I'm saying when it comes to the funding, I mean, yes, they can show you certain things. This is what you need to do. And also, right, the market needs to be easy to access, right? And what do I mean by that, easy to make? It's the same thing. Like, if we look at stats, right, then there's the Palo Palo, right? So if you want to enter in there, you also have to make it such as, listen, I have this kind of company, try and break it down, right? You don't need to always, what is this word? Bring a well-established, huge, company. Yes. Sometimes you can break it down and say, okay, fine, guys, listen, this is a huge building. This one will handle this. This company will handle that, and this company will handle that, right? Same thing, they do cleaning, but it's right. You know what? We'll separate it by floors. Guys, you can handle this. You see that kind of thing? Just try and see if it works, right? Let's try. At least we're creating. The whole chunk is not just going to one person. Yes. That's my thought behind it. Like, sometimes government, the way it's structured most, it likes this huge company, and then this huge will obviously subcontract, bring a lot and those kind of things. But for me, sometimes I think they need, especially if the place is not necessarily that huge where it needs that kind of thing, you can just break it down and say, this person handles this and this person handles that. And you find that the finances, if you break it, actually it works, then you've created, the company also gets that experience that it needs, that it can climb higher. Because now, it's hard to enter in there, because it's like, same time you want to enter it, you need 5 years, you need to work with this and that. And when will you get that? Yes. That's what I'm saying, the access to the market, is like, I can't even enter.
Yeah,
I can't even enter.
It's really difficult, Spay. And you've touched on something that, if we're just coming back to funders, I believe they can also make this thing easy. Let's say they identify 5 young people who've got similar business interest. They want to go in the same direction, but they are maybe different in a few areas. It will be easy to say, okay, there's the 5 of you. Here's a check of 100,000 rand. I think as what I'm going to mention is what NIDA is doing. So NIDA doesn't just fund you without giving it's a must for you to attend training with them.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to see their money going to waste. So if they are, I think private funders should also go that route to make it a must. Even if I'm a business guy and I've got, I want to fund Sipelela.
Yeah.
I must make it a must and say, okay, I'm going to fund you, but this is what you need to do. And the other thing is, government also needs to look at this at this red tape that is blocking a lot of our young people from getting funding. There is too much red tape. You can start a business now. A project starts here in Salvaco. They will tell you need about 5 million in your bank account to get a tender there, even if you come in as a subcontractor. Which is understandable. Yeah. But why not say, okay, you can come in. We will help you for the next 6 years or six months, just to keep afloat, so you can find your feet. Because when you come in as somebody from Salvaco, you can employ other young people from Salvaco. So that red tape really needs to be looked at.
That's why I'm saying access to the market. It's exactly that access to. If there's a project that comes, that's what I'm saying. If I'm like now, I kind of do have the experience, but I still need to. Because you're never too old to say, I've learned enough,
No, you're never
Yeah,
told to learn.
No, man, I've seen it myself. These companies, I mean, some of them are 20 years old and they still made huge mistakes, right? To show that there needs to be room for that. You need to understand that. And I'm not saying gamble with the project and say, you know what, just bring in people. But there has to be at least, if it's a project that huge, you have to make it, for me, a must. That, you know what, guys, there has to be a company somewhere here, young one that needs to learn, that can actually grow in this project.
That big company brings up that smaller company. So that smaller company in 10 years can be on the same level and do the same thing what's done to them, which is a good idea, a point that you are raising. You know, and those are things that are not looked at. You know, when it comes to business. I think a lot of us here, I've got a registered business, but if a project can come out there now, you know, I'm not qualified. I don't qualify. Yeah, even if I can get all the experienced people. Let's say I want to go into construction and they need somebody who can lay carpets and do ceilings and who can paint. Even though I can get all the people together, I will still need to have a certain amount of money in my bank account. Instead of a company saying, okay, we see you've got the people, we can, let's say the main contractor, we can help you for the next 6 months. For the next 6 months, we're going to pay your guy's salary until you are on a level where you can pay the salaries. You know, things like that. Bring the company up. And the same thing should happen to youth. You know, we've got a lot of business people out there, you know.
That's why I was raising the business thing and I'm sticking to it because it mostly has forced, sometimes it even forces you. You know what? I have to just spin for myself. You know what? Let me try and put 2 and 2 together. But at this point, you also need that support.
Yes, you need that support because not everyone. Sorry for breaking in there. Not everyone is, you know, not everyone has that strong will. To say, you know what? Even if it fails, I'm gonna push. There's somebody who just needs that person to say, you know what? Let me just hold you up and walk with you a distance, and that's where mentoring comes in. You know, even if you give the funds, but mentoring plays an important role in that thing. So, my president, Kaden McKenzie, is a businessman. So, and he has actually encouraged young people, or not just young people, but people to start businesses. And there's a reason for that, because he has, I'm not going to say connections, because connections, it sounds so wrong. He has business relationships with other people out there. So if people would approach him and say, you know what, this is my company, and this is what I want to do. You know what, I need 1, 2, 3. I believe that my president will be able to point Oscar in the right direction, connect me to the right persons. You know what, this guy is into construction. You know what, he needs this and this and this and this for his company to actually to operate successfully. You know,
and moreover, I also want to touch on the construction part. I feel like there's just too much of it for me, and then it also gives him that limitation. Usually, from my experience, I'm in Salvoko. It's as if the only company that should exist is a construction company, right? I'm in entertainment. This is entertainment.
Yes.
I need a different attention other than the construction kind of thing. So, for what is your plan for that? Like, how do you plan to diversify such fundings and such assistance to these people? Because it's the construction problem that I have, as if this is the only kind of job there is.
Yes.
Right. While South Africa, if you look at it from the whole, it's so broad. It's so diverse. I mean, there's just too many different kind of fields of work that you can actually really do other than just construction. And I feel like they're limiting even the imagination of people itself. As if that is the only thing. Like everybody, construction this, construction that. Yes, infrastructure is good. I agree. But then, as I said, there are certain other. What if someone wants to do IT? What if someone is good at IT? You see those kind of questions. Like that's what, and I have to stick when I'm speaking to. I have to stick as a. You have to answer me like a councillor. You have to answer me, not Oscar.
Yes, as a councillor.
But as a councillor, like the solutions. What would be the plan
Spay, you are raising a very valid point there, that especially in the like you guys who are in entertainment, you are being overlooked. No platform is created for you to how can I put this word? Not exercise, man, but to showcase.
I mean, even if you look at even the sort of graphic designs and so forth, literally when people campaign, they need those stuff.
Yes.
So I mean, you're looking at it, it's just everywhere. There are certain things that are always needed, but then I feel like sometimes people don't understand, or maybe they just overlook, such as maybe the skill is not here.
Yes.
Right. So
Spare for me, I would be looking at creating those platforms.
Yeah.
I would be looking to like creating those platforms where you guys, I've known you guys for a very long time. That I think you are the first hip hop group that I've got to know here in Salvador. So those platforms need to be created so that you guys can get a necessary exposure for what you deliver, or for what you are good at. Because as you said, you need entertainment. You are not necessarily good with laying bricks because you are an entertainment person. So the platforms need to be created. And when I talk about platforms, they in terms of technology as well, I can't just say, okay, guys, I've created a wall, I've built a wall for you guys where you guys can perform.
Yeah.
You know what? There needs to be your things like internet. So that we give you guys the exposure out there on the web, because the web is quite big. What you are doing now, we should have recorded this live.
Yeah.
We should have recorded this live, but we don't have or you don't have. I'm not saying you don't have, but I'm just gonna say this: the resources are not there. We could have had a nice studio right now.
Yeah.
To do this interview in, but we're doing it here. So those things need to be set into place. I spoke to Ali the Arden, like, you know what? We might have artists like paint, guys who paint in Salvador, but we don't have those things. So that why don't we create an art center?
Is your art center still gonna be the Third Avenue?
Let's not go there. Okay. But we need an art center, because a child will not know what they're good at until the day you put him in front of that canvas. You give him his paint. You give him his brush.
Actually, I really love the way you're speaking, because it adds on what I was saying as to, I don't want Salvador to have that limited mindset as to my thing needs to be, especially politics and construction. The world is so big. The world has a lot of opportunities, and I think exactly is that everyone now we're all crowded in that area, right? As if it's the only thing.
And that's why it's becoming the way it is.
Yeah.
Because we all want a piece of the pie.
You want a piece of construction.
We all want there's a lot of money in construction. There's a lot of, but if you're going to go into business because you want to make money, you are failing. Business is about longevity. Those companies who went into business because they made money, none of them are existing.
Yeah.
But those who've been there, because it's about longevity, they've been there for 20 years and they've made money in the process. So this includes a lot of things. Sports. Sports is one thing. When we start some sports in Salvador, we only start a soccer team.
Yeah.
But there's somebody who's good in rugby. There's somebody who's good in cricket. There's somebody who might have a baseball talent, and even though we've got,
you'll be surprised because I even know someone who actually is good in chess that wants to teach kids.
And chess is a sport.
It's a sport. So
chess is a sport. I think I spoke to Baila once. That we need to open up this thing.
Yeah.
But if you say you have somebody, then when I take over this office, I want to be connected to such a person. See, because chess helps in the classroom as well.
Yeah.
So we will create platforms for those people, or I will make it. I will make it a point that we create platforms. You know what? Here's the hall. There's 10 tables. We've bought our chess sets.
Yeah.
Here's our coach. We invite a community. Okay, even anyone is interested in playing chess.
Yeah.
The venue is available. They can send their children through. So it's about creating those platforms, creating those opportunities. Because if no opportunity is created, no one is going to come to the fore.
And you can agree with me, right, that the more there is activities in an area, less, kids tend to not do wrong things.
Yes.
They tend to not smoke. They tend to not drink. They tend to not do drugs because
they're
there's
too busy.
so much activities.
Because they're too busy.
And I can even agree to that because that's how it was for us. There used to be a lot of activities. I don't know what happened, but there used to be. You know that if you came back, gosh, you still have to go to soccer practice. But before soccer practice, there's Danilali. There's Bible club. There was just
there was a lot. I remember Spe. When I came to Salvacop, I spoke to Rudolph the other day. They were playing soccer here in Nkululeko, the center. They were playing here. It was Wesley, Paul Butler, Tato, Leslie, Rudolph.
Yeah.
Those were the guys. They were the group of friends that I met there playing soccer. And then I think it's the following way back in 2006, 2007. I formed a team.
Yeah.
A team of Wesley them and all who actually played in the league.
Yeah.
In Mamelodi. So we would go every Sunday. They knew Friday we don't train. We train Monday to Thursday. Friday we don't train because we need to rest. Yeah. Saturday morning we all come together. We get a taxi. We go to Mamelodi. The team was Mabusana FC.
Oh. I remember that.
Yes. And then fast forward to 2010. 2009 to 2009, 2010. We had another team, PCSA.
Yeah.
It was actually an academy who actually kept the young men who are now young men, were kids back then, kept them busy.
I remember I was kind of there for a little while.
Yes,
certain things, but I was, and it really made a difference.
It made a huge difference. I saw it because when I stepped back from soccer, I could see that, what I actually made a huge mistake. Yeah. Because the generation after that, that's the generations that didn't care. They would walk around with cigarettes in the street. Even now, these young boys walk around with cigarettes in the street. They would have the beers in their hands in the street. With that group, it's you, your brother, Givnan Gambi, all those guys, Wesley, all those guys, that group of young men, they were way different than the ones we have now. As you said, rightly said so. You guys had pen, you had soccer, you had drama. There was too much for you to say, after school, I'm gonna go to Baghdad, get a scavenyana, and then we'll chill under the tree. We are waiting for weekend. It's Friday. We're gonna dance. Then Saturday morning, Roin Sababalas. That was not there for you. So those things need to be brought back.
And are you planning on doing that?
Yes. It has crossed my mind. Obviously, I'm gonna be too busy.
Yeah.
Doing my council duties.
Yeah.
But I'll have to identify the people within the community. I don't want somebody from outside. Somebody from outside will not understand the community the way somebody from in the community will understand the community.
Okay. Yeah,
so
I can see exactly.
I'll have to identify this, and then we have to get the resources directed to those sports programs. And if we don't have enough facilities here, we've got correctional services, we've got nice facilities.
Yeah.
Then we talk to those guys. We want to utilize them because at the end of the day, young people in correctional services, they fall under our ward, and we also need to consider them as well.
Okay.
So we need to bring these children. And there's a line that they are using. They're saying, because I'm coming back to what you said earlier on, a child in sport is a child out of court.
Okay.
So when we keep them busy, they will not end up in court. But if we don't keep them busy,
I would like to also that should be a priority as well, because they are our future.
Yes, they are indeed our future, and we need to prioritize them. As I said earlier, if no opportunity is created, no one is going to come running. You need to have the bait.
Yeah.
You need to have the bait to draw them towards you. We've got young people are into dancing.
Yeah.
But we don't have a hall where they can dance. We don't even have something like this where they can just dance straight and there's a nice floor where they can dance. And I've seen this over the last how many years that I've 16 years that I've been staying in Salvacop. I've seen this. I mean, we've had your Dimakatos. We're into dancing. There's a boy staying in the street. There's quite a lot of young people and young men and young girls who are into, but they just need a place, a safe place where they can live out their talents.
I actually really do hope that you'll actually attend to these things.
No, I believe
councillors have.
I'm a man
of speaking. And
I'm a man of my word.
Suddenly they are too busy. I heard you right now a minute ago saying you'll be too busy. It kind of concerned me a bit.
No.
He's studying.
No.
Before he even enters it.
When I say when I'm too busy, I'll be busy with council work. I'll be busy looking at the issues of this place.
Yeah.
I'll be busy trying to get our young people employed.
Yeah.
I'll be busy getting our young people the necessary investment into the businesses. I'll be busy with those things. Not to say I'm too busy, I can't see to your needs. Okay. I'll be busy with the community's needs, not with my own things. Because a win for Oscar, it's a win for everyone in Salvacop.
Okay.
And that they can be sure of. We don't want to just have lip service.
Yeah.
We actually want to deliver. I, Oscar Manfred, want to deliver. I'm here to serve. I'm not here to be served.
Okay.
In the PA, there's no VIPs.
Yeah.
Our president said it.
So you'll be on the ground. You're saying that you'll be on the ground.
I'll be on the ground. If it means I have to fix a drain, I'll have to take off my suit and go and fix that drain. If it means I have to fix a water leakage, luckily for this community, I'm not scared of work.
So, and I'll hold you to it, right?
I'll
hold you to it. I'll hold you to it.
If it means I have to get my hands dirty, I have to get my hands dirty. I have to work.
Yeah.
Your job is to work. As much as you can pick up a call and call to the offices of Tswane. If you see they are taking too long, roll up your sleeves and work. Simple as that.
That's a good attitude, actually.
Councillors are yet to work, people.
Now, touching on skills. Yes, I get it. We need to work. But what's the point if you don't qualify for a certain position? When it comes to skills, what is your plan? Because remember, there are kids right now, they are done. They also need to go to varsity. Like, how easier can you make it for them?
Spare, we are all different.
Yeah.
And when you talk about skills, you have to identify what you're good at. I can't come and tell you, Spare, go and do a welding skill. You've got no interest in welding.
Yeah.
You've got no interest in welding. So you're gonna do something that you're like, okay, they are saying I must do it.
Yeah.
So it'll be about identifying what someone is good at. Because when it comes to skills development, yes, skills development. I'm a preacher of skills development. I believe in skills training because skills training can close the unemployment job. That's what they say. Rather give someone a fishing rod than a fish. Rather teach somebody how to fish than to give him a fish. So if we upskill our young people, they don't necessarily have to go and work for anyone. If I've got a skill in welding, I can come back tomorrow and get my own customers, make my own money, employ two other young people who can help, and maybe train them. Not maybe, but train them as well. Even if I don't train them everything, but train them as well. See, so skills development, it's very important. It needs to happen. If needs be, we need to set up a skills. We had a skill center in Salvacop, right across the street here. It closed down because money was an issue. But I'm hoping when we take over, we can reopen that skill center. We can reopen the skill center and bring the necessary skills. As long as you're going to teach somebody something that they cannot use. You need to look at skills like bricklaying. You need to look at skills like welding. You need to look at skills like carpentry, like that. Not forgetting you guys who are in the music industry or the entertainment industry. You also need to be upskilled in your area of expertise. You also need to be given the necessary tools to say what I'm here, but now they gave me the tools. I can go to the next level.
And I was saying that because also, remember they want to. Government is planning to build around this area.
And government is planning to
so
destroy
if government is
Salvacop.
planning to, that's a topic for another day, right?
Yes.
isn't it really wise that as soon as maybe they're done with a certain building, at least you know you are qualified for administration. At least you are qualified for financial management. At least you are those kind of things, like planning ahead. What do you get my point on that? Such as planning ahead. Like, is there a plan also for that?
You know, companies who come in, there's a certain percentage into the community.
Yeah.
You know, so it'll just make sense. You know, on the point that you just mentioned, if when they are done, we identify young people. We say, you know what, we've got 10 matriculants.
Yeah.
You know, this one is good in accounting. We need bursaries for those people. You know, and then there's something that's also helping when it comes in terms of skills. Those are your learnerships, your NQFs. You can do an NQF in financial management. You can do an NQF in security. You can do an NQF learnership in different fields. So that actually helps because, you know, maybe a bursary is too much.
Yeah.
You know, say, you know what, for 3 years I have to fund this person.
Yeah.
One person with 300,000 rand. So why don't we use 300,000 rand and we fund 10 people? We do NQFs. We identify an NGO within the community who can run this project. Let's say for 6 months, 12 months, they get the moderators, they get the facilitators, they get all the assessors into place and say, we are running a financial management learnership. We're inviting young people who have got an interest in this thing. So as I said, it's all about relationship building, because you cannot do anything without a relationship. If you're going to barge in there like, yeah, I'm the man, I'm the councillor, it's not going to help you. They're just going to chase you away, and then you lose at the end of the day. The community will point fingers at you and say, you know, it's because of you that we can't get 1, 2, 3. So relationship building is very important.
So I can see that's a priority where you want to make sure that
I want to build a relationship with the people around us, stakeholders, everyone around us. No matter how small, how big, I want to build a relationship with those people. Because you know, the office of the councillor is people that they've lost faith in it. People have lost faith in the when they talk about like councillors, oh, those ones, they're just there for themselves. I want to restore the faith people have in councillors.
And now touching them, I'm gonna close, but before I do, I'm kind of gonna go back, but I need you to actually try to go a bit deeper into it. The condition of Salvacop.
Yeah, it's bad.
The condition of Salvacop. Any specifics? The condition. What do you see that you don't like?
We've got too many Somali and Pakistani tuck shops in Salvacop.
Okay,
Salvacop is very small. And there are so many because the bylaws have not been upheld or upheld. You know. And people will say, no, because I don't have an income.
Yeah.
We said earlier on, people, they've got an income. They've got an income. But they still have Pakistanis in the yards or Somalis renting. And the other issues of the influx of foreigners in Salvacop. We don't know if you and I sitting here, we don't know how many of them are documented, how many of them are undocumented. It happened in the past that one of our own got killed in Salvacop, and the guy just ran away. He was never caught. It happened on more than one occasion.
Can you show it was a foreigner who did that? Because you said he never got caught, so
he never got caught. So it's something we're gonna really have to go work hard at.
Yeah.
Not just as a councillor, but as a community, because we need to come together and say, guys, you see what's happening in Salvacop. These people are coming in more and more. People are taking on more and more. Because if you look at most of the yards, they don't want any other people to rent. They only want the Zimbabweans to rent in the yards.
Yeah.
They only want the Zimbabweans to rent. And it's more and more, and people are just influxing. Now we've got Zimbabweans, we've got Tanzanians, we've got Malawians. You don't even know who you have anymore in Salvacop. So those are the things we need to come back and say, well, community, let's discuss this thing. How are we solving this thing? Now, personally, I don't want these tuck shops in. I'll rather have Okay, there's 5 people who want tuck shops in Salvacop. I'll rather go back to my president and say, you know what, we've got 5 people. I've identified 5. How are we going to fund them? Give them the first funding to say what they need stock in their tuck shops. And then from each family, we take one and train that one person. Give that person the necessary training so that person can work with the money for the tuck shop. Because why our tuck shops failed as South Africans is because whenever we need something inside the house, we go to the tuck shop. Forgetting you're taking stock money there. Or even if we just take a 2 kg of chicken, it's stock that needs to be sold. So my plan is to take one from each family, to train them for a month or so, or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, give them the necessary training, just a short course, so they can know how to work with finances, how to do stock taking, how to stock, all those things. That's my plan. Okay. But I really don't want.
So mostly it's the too many foreigners.
Too many foreigners.
And on top of that, too many tuck shops.
Too many tuck shops. And then we've got our other social ills in Salvador. Like drugs.
Yeah.
There's alcohol abuse amongst our youth. There's also other issues like teenage pregnancy. Those things you cannot overlook them because you now need to bring in the right people to come and deal with those issues. So when we talk youth, we can't just talk about employment. We need to look at the other issues. They are also there. That's also happening amongst the youth in Salvacop. Yeah. You know, and see how you can deal with that. Like the youth now that they've started with drama classes again. I've never been there. I don't know what the outcome is. But when I look at my sister's children, they're always excited to go up to the drama club. You know, but we need to bring in those programs who can deal with those social ills. Teenage pregnancy is not something they can just discuss once in 5 years. Yeah, it's something that needs an ongoing thing. You know,
like education.
Yes, drug and alcohol and abuse amongst young people is not something that you can discuss once in 5 years. It needs to be just a reminder every time when you do like you are here again. Just to remind them. That there's organization like SANAS. I think it's SANAS. From the police, who are narcotics association or something like that.
I don't want to. I'm not.
Yes, there's an organization. Invite those people. Salvacop is a very small area, and in this ward, Salvacop is, and just specifically when talking about, is the only residential area, excluding now Tekwa Road and the correctional service, is the only residential area. When you go into town, it's private property. You've got flats. Salvacop has the most issues. In town, yes, we've got the issues of drugs and things like that. So, but saying that when we do those things in Salvacop, we will invite the young people because we will have now the facilities. So we've got a center where we can deal with those things, talk to young people about these things.
And then now the question also is that, do you think there's too many taverns?
Yes, of course there are too many taverns in Salvacop. Salvacop is too small.
And what will you do about that?
Salvacop is too small. That's a difficult one.
Why is it difficult?
Because at the end of the day, people, they got licenses. You know, the way licenses were issued back in the day and the way licenses are issued now are two different things. You know, so that's a really, really, really difficult one to.
What's tricky about it? Educate us.
I can't say much about the liquor board. All I can say, there's too many taverns in Salvacop. That's all I can tell you.
But there's nothing you can do about it.
At the moment, I mean, there wasn't even supposed to be a tavern across the school, but it's there. The school tried fighting it. You know, when it comes to issues of like a tavern, if I try fighting that thing, I'll have the community standing up against me. So now you have to come back and educate the community that, you know what, a tavern across the school is not a good thing.
So are you saying that will be the plan, that you'll have to educate concerning alcoholism? And is that what you're saying?
Not really, because we were not talking about alcoholism. We were talking about taverns.
But they sell alcohol.
Yes, they sell alcohol. That's what I'm saying. It's a tricky one, that one, because if you're gonna try and fight it, I'm telling you, You'll have the community, because where do people spend their times on weekends? Where do people spend most of the time on
I
weekends?
wouldn't know, maybe. Some of them spend it there, of course.
There's the places of leisure. You know, even the tavern owners, they see that as an income. You'll have to. So there's something. It's a very difficult one to fight.
Don't the Somalians also see that as an income? I mean, they're selling necessary stuff, bread.
They are selling necessary stuff, but as I said,
what's the difference?
I would rather have our people running the tuck shops than have other people from outside running tuck shops. The tavern issue is something I'll have to go back to my president or my regional leaders and ask them, how are we going to deal with this thing? Because there's a concern. Remember, it's a concern that you are raising now.
Yeah,
it's a concern. There are too many taverns in Salvakop. Salvakop is small.
Yeah,
in that line there's one. I think if you can count, you'll count modern taverns now slash what do you call them, sports slash lounge slash whatever it is. So there's really
if taverns were owned by foreigners.
So you're gonna go there now?
I'm there. If taverns were owned by foreigners, would they be as much less agency now as?
I'm not gonna comment on that one.
Is it?
I'm not gonna.
I'm just thinking because I'm putting 20 together. You said that
because
you're talking about tax shops. Yes, there might be a lot of tax shops.
Within this ward, there are many taverns. Or there are actually taverns or lounges and taverns owned by foreigners. So how the liquor board does that, I'm not sure. Are they only allowing those who are here legally to operate this kind of businesses, or what the issue is there? I'm not going to answer on their way of doing things. You know what I'm saying? With the tuck shops, I can use the bylaws. I'm not sure if I can use the bylaws with the taverns. I'm not sure on that one. So I will not answer that one and say, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. Because at the end of the day, tomorrow you're going to look at me and say, Oscar, you said you're going to do this.
So with the tuck shops, I mean, they're just selling food.
Yeah, they're just selling food, but
so why would it be a priority?
For me, I want those people to operate those businesses, because those tuck shops, they're not employing any of our people. They're not employing any of our people. The tuck shop is run by a Pakistani. They will call another brother from Pakistan to come and operate, or they use the Malawians and people like that.
And if they said okay, fine, then we'll employ South Africans.
It's still not good enough for us, because the fake stuff they sell in there. No. We really need to bring tuck shops. Tuck shops used to belong to our people. Remember, there was a tuck shop here.
I remember.
Pilaki.
Yeah.
There was a tuck shop further down.
I think there was a lot of tuck shops.
Yes. What happened to our tuck shops ever since the fall? Because when I came to Salvakop, there were not so many of them.
But isn't that healthy competition?
No, we can't call it a healthy competition when our people's businesses close down.
But because it's not like they close the business. If I'm selling this mug for 10 rand and you say you're selling it for 5 rand, whose fault is it? How are you the wrong person?
No, there's nothing wrong with that. But spare. If you the cold drink. Let's talk about the cold drink issue. Let's talk about the cold drink issue. Have you tasted Coke from the Pakistani shops?
I've seen the videos, and I will admit, yes, there are certain things that just don't taste as real as the usual ones. I agree with that.
Even grandpa.
Yeah.
Grandpa. So now I'm saying, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I will rather have the tuck shops back into the hands of our people.
Okay.
Than to have the Pakistanis and the Somalis having tuck shops in Salvakop.
And the reason, but also reason of doing things is important to let people know. You're saying that because also they sell fake food.
Not just the fake food, also in terms of that small job opportunity. Maybe there's a child somewhere in Salvakop who only has 10 at 6, who knows how to pack shelves in a
But that's why I was saying before that, what if they say, fine, we'll hire only?
As I said, I still don't want them. I want our people to have the tuck shops back into the hands of the community.
But then who's to say that it won't fail again? Because that's something you also need to think about.
That's what I said. That's what I said earlier on. Remember what I said earlier on?
Yeah.
We will take from each family.
Yeah.
We will take one person
Yeah, I do remember now.
to go and train that person, and we will have to monitor them regularly to see how they are doing. Because at the end of the day, if you're gonna invest in something, you need to monitor your investment. Say, how are you doing? What kind of help do you need? Does this person that we've trained, does that person, he or she still need help? And you take it from there. We need to bring the taxes back to the South Africans. It's like we cannot have wherever you go, they are there.
Yeah.
You go to Soshanguve, you go to Mamelodi, you go to El Dorado Park, they are there. They even go in there, if they even in our white areas.
Yeah.
Then they are there.
But then isn't it a sign that actually they're doing something right since they're growing?
No, you know what? The one thing those people are doing right that we can learn from is when they go and stock, they don't go and stock individually.
Yeah.
They know we've got 10 tax shops in Salvador.
Yeah.
So when they go and stock, all 10 of them. They go and stock together, and then they divide what they've stocked. Like, okay, this is yours, this is yours, this is yours. That's the one thing we can learn from them, and if we can use that, Yeah.
Shouldn't we just use it? Because clearly it's an advantage.
Yes, we can.
Shouldn't we just?
That's what I'm saying. Let's get rid of them first, and then we use that. Say, there's 10 of you, there's 5 of you. There's 100,000 rand on the table. We're gonna stock for 100,000 rand.
Okay.
And then we come and divide. That's yours. 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 That's it.
But concerning with the tax shops that you guys will be funding, that would be the requirements. Are you saying that okay, if we're gonna fund you, this is how you guys need to work as a team?
Yes, obviously that's a plan we need to put forward to the people. So you know what? This is how they've been doing things. Let's try and do it with the way they did it, and see if it works.
Okay.
And if it doesn't work, let's see where we can tweak it.
Okay.
Get what I'm saying?
I get what you're
Let's see
saying.
where we can tweak it to make it work for us.
Yeah.
Because it just makes sense to stock in bulk.
It does.
If you come with your 20,000 rand, I come with 20,000 rand. Other 3 people come, we've got 100,000 rand. We go and stock for 100,000. We actually get more than.
Normally you buy the same things.
Yes, we actually get more. Instead of where we now got 1 pellet of maize meal, now we get 2 pellets of maize meal. Now we get 2 pellets of cooking oil. Because we are stocking in bulk, and the prices when you stock in bulk, the prices are a little bit lesser, and then you can cover everything.
Now, Oscar is the councillor already. Wow, well done. What can we expect from him? The first thing, like, what can we expect from him? How different will he be?
What you can expect is a servant. What you can expect is somebody who's impartial. What you can expect is somebody who is incorruptible.
Yeah.
Because the Patriotic Alliance, this party will never allow Oscar to be corrupt.
Yeah.
Patriotic Alliance, if I can take 1 rand away that I'm not supposed to be taken, I'll be dismissed as a councillor. And that's the reason why this party has grown so big.
Yeah.
Because our president, Clayton McKenzie, is unapologetic about that. Corruption will not be tolerated. Oscar Steyn, as a councillor, will not tolerate corruption. Oscar Steyn will not be served, but he will serve.
And what are your priorities? The party's or needs, or the community's needs? 180. What are your priorities?
I live in this community.
Yeah.
I'm a member of the Patriotic Alliance. My president doesn't know this community. I know this community. So obviously my priority
is you will serve
lies with the community in line with the party's principles.
Okay.
That's it. I'm here to serve the community in line with the party's principles. Because there's principles and there's procedures that you need to follow.
Yeah.
So everything that I'll be doing in line with the party's principles.
And you've said that their principles satisfy you.
Yes.
They are in line with also your ideas.
Yes. as I said earlier on, I follow a vision.
Yeah.
I don't follow a man. I follow a vision. So the man can die tomorrow. The vision, and if the vision is still upheld by the person who takes over,
yeah.
I follow that vision. I do not follow a man. I follow the vision. And our president's vision is to unite all South Africans in this country.
Oh.
All. And I'm talking about all. I'm talking about colored, black, white, Indian.
Not colors only.
Not colors only. To unite all South Africans in this country. To bring back Christianity into our schools. The one thing he also mentioned that he instructed us to always mention or to do is that when we take over the municipalities, all municipal accounts will start from zero. So your account that's 10,000 rand there will start from zero. The other thing that our president also mentioned, that your criminal record cannot keep you away from a job. It has happened for far too long that you've served your sentence, you have been rehabilitated, you're not involved in crime anymore, but now you can't get a job. So those things will be set into place to help former criminals to get a job. If they are rehabilitated, we will help them to get those jobs. If they are not, it's a different story.
Okay.
But
and I'll hold you to these sayings. Remember,
no,
everyone who's watching will hold you to these sayings. Everyone will hold you to these sayings. But all in all, man, it was nice having you here.
No, it was a pleasure. Nice my first interview.
And I really do hope the best. I hope the best.
No, thank you very much, Spare. As I said, I'm here to serve the community. I'm a child of this community. I'm not here for my own. I'm not just here for my children's future. I'm here for everyone. A win for Oscar is a win for the whole community.
It was nice having you here, man.
Thank you very much, Spare.
Sharp.
Sharp.